Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Nazzul and Ice Apple 23. Thanks for your continued support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to episode 6. Now, last time we tracked down the Technic League, we investigated the abandoned hut, and we cleared out the Temple of the Elk, meeting Tristan in the process. We've actually done everything we can to clear up the magical mist at this point, so it's just a matter of time before the Stag Lord's fortress appears. In the meantime, we'll see if we can keep ourselves busy with some of the other things that are waiting around the stolen lands. As usual, we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get to it. Okay, so we're running pretty low on supplies. That means we should probably start heading back towards Oleg's. Still, that doesn't mean we can't do some adventuring on the way there. Now, the quickest route back to the trading post will take us right through Thorn Ford, which means we're passing right by the Technic League camp. I guess that gives us a good opportunity to pay Kalannah a visit.
May we have a moment of respite?
Just a little farther, Tristan. Oh, or maybe not. Pretty much everyone's exhausted, so let's go ahead and get some rest. Of course, we don't actually have enough rations for the entire party. We'll use what we have left, and that should reduce the amount of time it takes to go hunting. We'll also change the meal that Silverleaf is preparing. We'll need all the help we can get if we're going up against the Technic League. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone who can actually camouflage the camp. That'll be Lindsay's job once she hits level 3. For now, we'll just double up on hunters. Okay, looks good. Let's get some rest. Successful across the board? No random encounter. Moving on. Technic League encampment. Technic League agents made their way through this forest. They set up camp in this area, where it seems they held their slaves. Alright, let's do this. Nothing in immediate view. The map looks pretty small, though. Let's start walking the perimeter, and we'll stop as soon as we spot anything. We definitely need to set up buffs before we actually fight these guys.
All according to plan.
Alright, we've got a tent in sight. Let's go ahead and, oh, hold on. We've got a single Technic League archer in sight. No sign of any reinforcements either. Well, I was going to set up buffs first, but let's see if we can take this guy out while he's alone.
Enemy approaching.
Nice. We've actually got a Technic League swordsman right on the other side of that tent, but I guess he slept through the fight. Let's get ourselves set up so we can take these guys down.
What troubles you?
Share your troubles.
Focus on the goal.
Of course, this rain will complicate things, but we should be fine.
Repent!
So far, so good. Oh, hold on. He's going after Harem now. Let's finish this. Not quite fast enough. That's fine. We've got plenty of healing. What is this? An escape? Untie us. We'll fight with you.
In due time.
Sure, that sounds like a plan. We'll untie these guys and team up against Kalannah. Oh, and the fighting has immediately started. I was hoping for some more prep time, but that's fine. Let's move up and get a better look at what we're dealing with.
We will be victorious!
Oh, that's actually not that bad. One archer, one swordsman, and Kalannah herself. It was a whole lot harder back in the beta. Okay, let's have the frontliners rush that archer, and the backliners will keep Kalannah off balance.
This should do it.
Yeah, that should hopefully be enough to disrupt her spells. Nice. Just as planned.
See what her entrails look like.
Oh, she actually got off a summon. Nothing to worry about just yet. There we go. Looks like the archer's down too. Let's wrap this up.
Let us strike as one!
Kalannah drops her weapons and raises her hands, which are covered in blood. Mercy, don't kill me! The half-orc bares his fangs. That's how you talk now, wretch. I've wanted to do this for so long. He casts a spell on his outstretched palm, and sparks begin dancing upon it. The half-elf puts her hand on his shoulder. Ragongar, come now, let her go. It's one thing to kill her in battle, but executing her unarmed? Why spoil the joy of being free? Octavia, are you out of your mind? This filth is from the Technic League. By her own hand, she enchained us, and you want to forgive her? Do you think she'll thank you? Ha! She'll just gather another band and try to catch us again. Before deciding her fate, I want to ask some questions. I'll tell you everything. I know much. You'll see. I'm more used to you alive than dead. Tell me about the Technic League. It is an ancient alliance of wizards and scholars of the Numerian wastelands and its technologies. We are the mightiest organization in the whole of Numeria. We possess powers that the uninitiated could only dream of, and our agents are everywhere, not just in Numeria. Believe me, these are not people you want as enemies. Only cowards with no honor reckon sheer power a good reason for an alliance. Is it normal for the Technic League to grab random people from the road to enslave them? Kalannah shrugs. The Technic League is so strong because it is never ashamed of taking what it needs, whatever the laws may say. We were missing a slave. We underestimated you. That was a mistake, of course. I apologize. What are you doing in this part of the world? I was sent by Maestro Janusz. He is a very important person and a mighty wizard who taught these two ungrateful slaves everything they know. He will be furious to find out they are free, and will certainly find the ones who stole the Technic League's property. Believe me, he does not need me for that. Whether you kill me or not, he'll find you in no time. You say this Magistro guy of yours will find us anyway? Then I guess we don't get anything out of sparing you. You'd best not anger the Maestro. If you kill me, he'll be furious. Oh, I'm so scared. You know, I actually like getting slavers and other assholes angry with me. Then I get to cut them to pieces. Amiri, please stop helping. Why did you have these two in chains? Because we own them. The Technic League spent vast sums of money on these two. We nurtured them, fed and treated them, even taught them magic for many years. They cost us a fortune, and we're not going to just set them free, whatever your local customs say. We are fully in our rights. I don't have any more questions. Listen to me. Do not make any hasty decisions. I'm an important person in the Technic League. I have connections. You will benefit from such an ally. Sparing a repentant sinner is a good deed, but I hear no repentance in her words. She seeks impunity, not mercy. You see now what a slimeball she is? Step aside. Let me fry her. Well, this is a conundrum. On the one hand, Tristan is probably right. She's almost certainly not repentant, but at the same time, I'm not comfortable killing someone who's helpless. Alright, well, most of these responses seem pretty questionable, so let's err on the side of good. Besides, I'm kind of curious to see if we run into her again. I will spare her life. Go back to Numeria. Ragungar strikes Kalannah across the face. Get out of my sight, you filth! Thank the gods that my friends are so soft. Goodbye, Kalannah. You shouldn't have spared her life. On second thought, what difference does it make? Either way, she'll rot in the abyss. Ha ha! We're free! I can't believe it! Free as the birds in the sky! Ha 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 ha! Ragungar holds Octavia tight, and she laughs lightly and kisses him on the lips. Thank you. You have no idea how long we've tried to escape the Technic League. This is a miracle. Who are you? I am Ragungar, and this is Octavia. The rotten Numerian held us as slaves, but we are no mere scavengers. You see the crowd they had guarding us? It's because we use magic, and I'm not bad with a blade if it comes to that. They're all right. We could use them on our team. What is the Technic League? A huge man-eating spider catching all of Numeria in its webs. They're a secret society of arcane spellcasters who study ancient technology. They have eyes and ears throughout this land and abroad. It is said they even have Kavoth Kull in their pocket, the very sovereign of Numeria. They also control all the slave trade in the country. I've seen many a young treasure hunter's adventures end at the slave market. Ugh, may the Technic League rot in Abaddon. There is nothing worse than a nation in which a secret criminal organization has consolidated power. Even an openly cruel tyrant is better than the infection that festers in Numeria. How did you get captured by Kalannah? I've lost count of how many times we've tried to escape. I can't name all the things we've tried, but we were caught every time. And then they'd just take us somewhere else. I don't know who'd want to buy us, but imagine how happy we were when we learned they were taking us to the River Kingdoms, where slavery is forbidden. Indeed, we tried so many times to escape, yet in the end, the League itself brought us to the free lands. Under heavy guard, I'll grant you. If it wasn't for you, who knows where we'd go next? There's something we have to discuss. Go to Oleg's trading post. You'll be safe there. I'll return there soon. We'll be waiting for you, but be careful you're not followed. The Technic League has eyes everywhere. Okay, that's 2 more potential party members. There are a few more we haven't met yet, but we won't actually run into them until Act 2. Anyway, let's have a look around. There's a few potions. Nothing all that notable.
A trivial matter.
And an assortment of minor valuables, plus a stockpile of starchy food. Assorted vendor trash.
It is finished.
Oh, a whole lot of cooking supplies. Oh, and more prisoners. Freedom! Freedom! And the reward for our good deed is a chain shirt +1. Interesting. Not what I was expecting, but I guess we can use it. At the moment, we only have 2 characters who actually use light armor, Silverleaf and Lindsay. And unfortunately, Lindsay would immediately be over-encumbered if we gave it to her. I guess we'll give it to Silverleaf for now. We also picked up that book. There it is. Shadows of Absalom by Pax Grumetra. I don't think it's actually relevant to anything in the game, so we'll pass on reading it for now. Let's clear the rest of the map, and then we can head towards Oleg's.
That is not far.
You'd really think they'd hide something in this little valley here.
As it should be.
Well, maybe we missed a perception check. Moving on. Okay, we just need to head across the Thorn Ford, and then I think we'll clear out some of this fog of war on our way back to the trading post. I would like to hit Fangberry Cave, but we're still level 2. I'm just not sure we're ready for it yet. Oh, hold on. Old Oak. A great old tree dominates this area, rising from the remains of the waterlogged pine forest. Well, it's not what I was planning to do, but we're already here. Of course, we'll want to get some rest first. Nice. Successful on all counts. Oh, it looks like Seasoned Wings grants us temporary hit points. And it's Amiri's personal favorite, so she gets a +2 when confirming crits. Not bad. Let's see what we're up against. Looks like a fairly small map. Okay, we'll do what we usually do and start by walking the perimeter.
All according to plan.
Oh, okay. That's a troll. Let's back up to a safer distance.
In due time.
Well, we're definitely under-leveled for this encounter. Most of us are still level 2. We do have bombs, though, and Tristan's fire spells.
Ready for anything?
Alright, we'll give it one shot. If it doesn't work out, we'll reload and move on.
Confide in me.
Focus on the goal.
Okay, I think that's everything we can do.
Don't hesitate.
We'll keep Valerie and Harem on defense mode, and hopefully they can keep that thing busy long enough for everyone else to kill it. Actually, let's hedge our bets here. We'll send out another death pony. The longer that thing stays distracted, the better. Let's hit that thing with, No, let's cue the music first. Alright, this might just work.
Repent!
A lot of it's gonna come down to the RNG, though. Nice, we're off to a good start. We need more spell support, though. Oh, Harem just took a pretty nasty hit. Come on. Nice. There we go. That actually went pretty smoothly.
That is not far.
We only took one nasty hit, and that's because I tried to cast a spell in combat.
Time's not waiting.
Good enough. Let's check those bodies. There's our first belt of giant strength. We'll give that right to Amiri. We've also got a corpse over here with a +1 light crossbow. Very nice. Okay, let's give that to... Actually, both Lindsay and Tristan rely pretty heavily on spells. The crossbow's really kind of secondary for them. We'll give it to Tristan for now. Let's clear the rest of the map. Nothing so far. Oh, there we go. Huh. Nothing great, but we might get some use out of this stuff. There's the oak tree, though we can't actually get to it.
As it should be.
And we are done.
In due time.
Let's get back to Oleg's. Okay, it should be a pretty straight shot back to Oleg's, but we might still get a random encounter or something. Alright, I think we're good. And we're about to hit level 3. With a delighted smile, Octavia inhales the smell coming from Oleg's trading post. Fresh bread! I can't believe it! All this time that we sat in cages and crawled in the mud, there were places in the world where they were baking fresh bread! And here we are. I bet they have clean sheets. And maybe we can even take a bath? A girl can dream. Get some rest. You deserve it. You can be sure of that. I've got years of rest to catch up on, and I'll be stuffing my face until I turn into a ball. You do so much for us. Is it all because you were kind, or maybe... The half-elf smiles flirtatiously. Maybe it's because you've been charmed by my beauty. Wow, that is quite sudden. You know what? Let's nip this in the bud. What are you asking? We're friends. Octavia smiles warmly. Yes, thank you. Alright, enough talk. Fresh bread and clean sheets await. Okay, I'm pretty sure that torpedoes the Octavia relationship, which I'm honestly fine with. That gets pretty weird pretty quickly. Oh, what have we here? Listen, there's... Well, since you dispatched the bandits with such skill, maybe you can help us with another problem. There's a feral swine living here in the woods. Not a normal wild pig, we're talking about a vicious boar, as big as a bear and wicked as a devil. The locals call him Tuskgutter. Many hunters have lost life and limb to him. Veckel Benson found his lair and went to kill the beast, but came back with one leg. He's put a bounty on the boar's head, but it looks like there aren't any heroes around here bold enough to claim it. Maybe you will rid us of this monster. Amiri livens up. Hey, we're better than the local wussies, right? Wanna bet I can chop off this Tuskgutter's snout with a single swing? Come on, let's find out. Don't you think we have enough to do without bothering with this Tuskgutter? The barbarian winces. Come on, listen, they sent us here to make things right. Bandits is one thing, but we're still supposed to get rid of monsters too. And rewards are a good thing, right? It seems you're dead set on slaying this boar. Is this something personal? Amiri looks aside. Well, not exactly. I'll tell you some other time, probably. And now let's just go and slice that monster into bacon strips. Alright, let's go kill this Tuskgutter. Amiri gives you a wide grin and slaps your shoulder. Right, that's the way I like it. Let's do it. Okay, that's one more side quest. Always nice. Alright, now, we don't have anything for Bakken just yet. And we do need to trade with Oleg, but I'll take care of that off-screen. Oh, let's have a chat with Jod. He'll want to hear about the Temple of the Elk.
How may I serve you?
Jod nods warmly. Hey, he's actually voice acted this time. I found the Temple of the Elk and killed the beasts there.
Erastu be praised, you finally returned, my good friend. Christian told me how you helped him at the Temple of the Elk. Thank you for heeding my request. My heart is calm and filled with confidence that I've followed the will of my God. I would like to reward your bravery. I possess no treasure, but please, take this as a token of appreciation. As far as I know, your next target looks to be the Stag Lord himself. With the Temple of the Elk cleansed of evil, the fog surrounding us should disperse to reveal the path to the brute's lair. Of course, magic so powerful is unlikely to disappear all at once. Bide your time. Follow up on other concerns while you wait. I will gladly aid you on your noble quest. Erastil himself foresaw our meeting.
Do you understand the meaning of your visions now?
I trust in their truth. These visions, they were the voice of Erastil himself, quiet but clear. Before all this happened, I believed Erastil had turned his back to me. But now, I see clearly. He has shown me divine mercy, for he has led me to you, and invited me to aid in a fellow priest's deliverance. Lady Sarenrae and Erastil walk the paths of the gods hand in hand, and so must their servants as well. Tristan is undoubtedly still very young, and youth is a time of naivete and confusion. But I see kindness and strength of spirit in him, traits indispensable to a priest. I sense that all that's transpired thus far is only the beginning, and the future promises great things for Tristan and for you, Baroness. This is why Erastil led me to the Temple of the Elk. Day and night I pray for you and for my young friend. May the stag god lead you down the true path.
That's enough about this for now,
As you wish.
Jod says with a hint of grumpiness. Tell me about yourself, Jod.
What exactly would you like to know?
Tell me about your past.
My story? Why not? You deserve to know it. I am a priest of Erastil, and Galt is my homeland. You can imagine what it's like following the teachings of the stag god in a realm torn by discord and strife. Rebellion and suspicion are the pillars of Galt. Led by Erastil, I tried to guide my flock to embrace tranquility and balance and guard them from hasty judgment, until I fell from grace myself. Foolish, foolish old Jod. My misdeeds cast a shadow over my life and service. In search of redemption and a balm for my soul, I took to the road. I had come nearly to despair when Erastil sent me a vision of the Temple of the Elk. I knew that very moment that the stag god had shown me the way to redemption.
What did you do to anger Erastil?
Well, if you truly wish to know, I'll have to start from the long time back. Werewolves preyed upon the lands around my village. They murdered people for fun or sport and left the corpses to rot on the roads. One night, they broke into a young woman's house and dragged her into the streets. One evening, a traveler came to our tavern, tattered and dirty from days on the road like so many others roaming Galt. He sat quietly in the corner of the tavern, drinking cheap ale, and in an instant, I knew he was a werewolf. I felt it in my soul. It was like Erastil himself had whispered it into my ear.
Jod smiles, but his eyes are dead as stones.
Led by Providence, I left to gather my flock, and we surrounded the tavern. The retribution was swift. However, I was tragically mistaken. The young man was no werewolf. He was a bandit, sent to spy on the village by one of the local gangs. We only found out after, when we went through his things.
Jod clearly has no wish to go into detail. You should have stayed your hand and discovered the truth before you acted.
Indeed. I remind myself of this every day when I awaken, and again when I go to sleep. I, who admonished my fellow citizens for the chaos they spread and the transgressions they made, but then I myself. Whatever the case, I knew Erastil was no longer pleased with me. It was terrifying.
Jod's voice wavers. Even now, one can glimpse inside him the remnants of the horror he lived through.
Imagine how my mind raced when here in the Stolen Lands I heard the voice of the stag god once again. He gave me another chance at service to atone for my guilt. Now I have regained hope, and that very hope is my most precious possession.
What can you tell me about your homeland, Galt?
For some, it is a land of freedom, where power belongs to the people, not to lords or kings. For others, it's a land of never-ending revolution, a realm surrendered to anarchy. It depends on who you ask. For me, I found Galt a violent place. Crowds eager to lynch a stranger for that accent or appearance, where a single word uttered at the wrong time or place can spark the people to riot and cities to burn.
He shakes his head.
For me, it is a place inhabited by the frightened and the desperate, always suspicious, watchful of trickery. All too often they are deaf to the voice of reason. They cannot grasp that chaos and lawlessness lead only to yet more chaos and lawlessness. All my life I've tried to break through to these poor people, but alas, I don't seem to have made much progress.
Jod is visibly upset and grows silent for a while. That's enough for now.
As you wish.
Tell me about Erastil.
Of course. It would be my pleasure. Erastil is one of the eldest gods of Golarion. His faith emerged when the first people appeared upon the land. Erastil helped our ancestors cultivate the land and hunt. Even now, his blessing lies with those who uphold the old traditions and keep to simpler ways, far from civilization and the noise of the city.
Jod's smile widens. Wait a moment. Cities have strengths as well, don't they? Civilization fosters science, trade, and invention, and in that it often improves life for all of us.
Tell that to the peasant robbed of all he owns, spending his night in the gutter, hoping to live to see the sunrise. You won't see such things in a village.
Jod mournfully shakes his head. Well, you do have a point. Indeed, cities can be places of evil and wrongdoing.
I'm glad to hear you agree. These days, many are deaf to the wisdom of generations.
What does Erastil demand of his faithful?
The word demand does not befit the stag god. Honesty and friendship, loving families, merry weddings, and newborn children in their mother's arms, they bring a smile to Erastil's face. He loves his people and rewards them with fortunate hunts and plentiful harvests. But he has no temper for sloth and vanity. He never bestows gifts upon his faithful without first measuring their worthiness. We ourselves must win our daily bread, but the stag god comes to our aid in times of need and strife.
I've always had respect for Erastil and his priests.
I see it more clearly every day. Erastil himself led me to meet you. Your keen spirit will serve you well.
A smile lights up Jod's face. I wanted to ask you about something else.
I am happy to help.
Okay, I think that's it. From here on out, Jod serves as a merchant with a pretty wide assortment of clerical and curative items. Though it does make you wonder why he claimed not to have any treasure when he's sitting on literally millions of gold worth of merchandise. Anyway, we won't worry about that right now. Let's take care of these level ups and then we'll hit the pause button. Oh, wow. Rigongar and Octavia have less than half the experience they should have. Again, that's not really a big deal, but I'm still pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. Well, let's stay focused on the rest of the party for now. I wasn't really planning on using them anyway. In the grand scheme of things, 3,000 experience points isn't really that big a deal. It only really matters at lower levels. At any rate, we'll give Silverleaf his 3rd level in Alchemist. That grants him a feat slot as well as an extra die of damage on his bombs. His skill selection is pretty straightforward. We'll stay focused on the 5 skills he's already trained in. As for his feat, well, he's got a couple of viable options, but we'll start with Precise Shot. We'll pick up Bomb Focus at level 5. Okay, that's it for Silverleaf. Next up we've got Valerie. This is another fairly straightforward level up. We'll give her a 3rd level in Fighter, which grants her a feat, as well as armor and tower shield training. It's nothing spectacular, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Most notably, it slightly improves her mobility. Valerie's not really a skill character, so we'll put her points into Persuasion and Nature Lore. And we'll go ahead and pick up Weapon Focus for her 3rd level feat. We do want to keep her focused on being a good tank, but we don't want to completely neglect her offensive abilities. Moving on. Next we've got Harem, who's our simplest level up yet. We basically have to have a dedicated cleric, so that's going to be Harem's role. He's obviously not the best healer, but that really doesn't make much of a difference once you get to higher levels. Anyway, he gets a new feat and a couple of skill points, but that's pretty much it. He'll also gain access to 2nd level spells, but we don't really have much control over that. Now, Harem's secondary role is to serve as an off-tank, to help keep enemies off our back line. With that in mind, we'll go ahead and give him shield focus. That'll make him a little tougher in combat, and it's a prerequisite for the missile shield feat, which I might pick up at a later level. Of course, we will need to set his new spells, but I'll take care of that between episodes. For now, let's move on to the next character. Now Amiri will, of course, stay focused on being a barbarian. It's what she does. That gets her a new feat, as well as her 1st rank of Danger Sense. I can't really say that Danger Sense is all that exciting, but it will help on the off chance she walks into a trap. For skills, we'll keep her focused on Athletics, Nature Lore, Perception, and Persuasion. I'm not sure that's right, but we'll go with it for now. As for her feat, we'll avoid weapon focus for now. She's going to be using a wide variety of weapons throughout the game. Instead, let's give her something nice and universal, like Power Attack. Granted, we can't really afford that loss of accuracy right now, but that's basically a gateway feat. It's required for several of the feats we want at higher levels. And that just leaves Lindsay. We'll keep her focused on being a bard, of course, which gets her the Song of Competence. That's pretty invaluable for low-level skill checks. Then we've got her skills, and we'll keep her focused on becoming a surrogate rogue. We'll put points in mobility, trickery, and perception. Then we'll put her last 2 points in stealth. That's not the most practical skill for a bard, but it will help when we're camping, and it's used in a lot of the storybook sequences. Now, as for her feat, I'm tempted to go with Precise Shot. That would give her a pretty massive bonus with her crossbow, but then again, she's currently spending most of her time in combat playing music or casting spells. Let's give her Lingering Performance instead. That'll make her bardic music a lot more flexible, and we can always pick up Precise Shot at level 5. That brings us to our new spell, and I'll admit, I'm not really sure what to do here. We've kind of got her leaning towards using enchantment magic, so let's go with Hypnotism for now. I could see it being useful against groups of low-level enemies like goblins or kobolds, but it'll be completely useless at higher levels. I'm really not confident with that choice, though, so Be sure to let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments below. Anyway, as usual, none of these decisions are set in stone. Not yet, anyway. Feel free to let me know if you have any suggestions on how we can improve things, and I'll certainly take it under consideration. For now, though, let's hit the pause button and we'll pick up here next time, as we continue our adventures in the Stolen Lands. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the fan-run wiki, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. Links are in the description.